Welcome to my YouTube channel. And some of you already know that I've been missing for nearly more than 10 years. I've not done any original music nor post any new materials on my channel. Now, because the last 20 years I have been principal of Tongling and pastoring FGT. So my main focus of my ministry has been looking after the Bible school as well as pastoring FGT Sri Damansara. That has taken all of my time, so there was very little time to do any music or to do any focus on my channel. But in September 2019, I've sat down as a principal of Tongling and to do a major focus on pastoring FGT Sri Damansara. And also this has given me some time to put some focus back on my music as well as my channel. So in 2021, one of my vision is to start to do some videos, share some stories, as well as do some teaching materials, worship devotions on my channel. So I hope that you will give me a thumbs up, subscribe to my channel, and give me some comments, how the materials I put up has been a blessing or things that you want me to cover. A Proof in Every Way was written in 1982 when I was just 22 years old. And it was written for our church camp, our second church camp. And at the time, Pastor Yuen was the camp commandant. And he's my fellow pastor now. And what happened was that, we wanted to write a camp song. So we co-wrote the lyrics of this song. Now, this song is not as popular as Every Time I Pray, but it contains two very important foundational message for our church. The first one is that we need to serve God with all our hearts, and secondly is we need to make sacrifices as we serve God. And these two main themes, serving God and making sacrifices, remain very foundational themes for our church for the next 40 years.
Living sacrifice.
Very early in our church meetings, we wanted to rent a shop lot, and it cost about 13,000 for the renovation of the church. Okay? And of course, because we had only 30 people and most of the students and only 2 cars in the church, we couldn't afford to raise the money. Okay, so we only raised 6,000. And 6,000 to today, to many of you, is very little. Maybe one person can issue a check of 6,000 or 13,000. Okay? But in those days, if you were a student and everybody was a student and only 2 cars in the church, we couldn't raise that amount. And I remember that many of us, took our bank accounts, emptied it, and we made sacrifices to really renovate the church. And we were very willing to do everything. And because we didn't have enough money for the 13,000, we basically sat on the floor and on newspapers. And that's how the church started, by the sacrifices of the people. And this song, A Proof in Every Way, is talking about the willingness to make sacrifices and the willingness to serve God. And that is the theme, and that is the willingness of the pioneers to do it in the early years. Over the years, I've observed that the pioneer leaders, they gave up a lot of their secular jobs, high-paying secular jobs, to serve God full-time. In particular, Pastor Hon Seng, Pastor Hock Kwat, Pastor Yuen, they were all earning very high salaries, in the secular, but they gave up their jobs, because God called them, and so they left and became pastors. Okay? And in particular, I want to share, that Pastor Yuen, who co-wrote this song with me, the lyrics, he was a very successful financial controller in the Arab Malaysian bank. Okay? And he gave that up, and he pastored our first branch church in Seremban. Okay? So he left, just he and his family, very young daughters, and went up, and had a difficult time there pastoring, but today is very successful. Okay? And so, but he sacrificed. He was driving a Volvo, and then suddenly, driving a Yuen. And this team continued in the church. FGT Subang, they are supporting a lot of missions, and they have got a lot of building projects. Today they own, they have 5 buildings. Now, Wisma Eagle 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and how are they able to do it? 1,000 people, and then buying properties in terms of millions and millions of dollars. And it's possible because the people and the members, they pick up this team that they want to serve God, and they were willing to make sacrifices to serve God.
The Master's
I want to share my own personal story also of sacrifice, So by the time, in 1998, Pastor Hon Sing, Pastor Yuen Wah, Pastor Hokwat, they're all full-time, And so I was, in the secular, I was quite successful, a senior GM of a steel company, But in 1998, God called me. And so I was struggling a little bit, because I had to make the adjustment if I do come out full-time, okay? But I made that hard decision also, to leave my secular job. At the time, it came with the BMW. So I also, when God called me very clearly, I also took the step and I became a pastor of FGT in Sri Damansara, as well as the principal of Tumling. And up to today, it's like 21 years already. I've never regretted. And I think it is a milestone decision for me, to make that very strong decision to serve God and that came with a sacrifice. And I'm glad, I never regretted today that I made that important decision in my life. I know I've been talking a lot about serving God and sacrifices, and so some of you may be saying, wow, what is pastor talking about? Are we really talking about sacrifices? Okay? But there's another side of the coin. Today I want to share with you, that God knows also how, to bless us back in return. When we take a salary cut, leave our secular jobs, we think, wow, it's like end of the world, what am I going to do? Not enough money and so on. Okay? But I've observed, over the last 20, 30 years, the life of the pioneers, and they did make sacrifices. But today, God has blessed them tremendously. Pastor Hon Sing, is now a national leader and he's doing well financially. God bless him with 2 daughters, a beautiful marriage. Pastor Hokwa, is pastoring FGT in KL. He's doing well also with his wife. Yuen Wah has 3, beautiful daughters. One of them is a pastor in KK. And he's also doing well. He owns houses and so on. So we must never really doubt, that God is able to provide for us. So even though God calls us to serve, God calls us to sacrifice. So sometimes, season or lack can be only a season, but eventually God blesses us tremendously. And I've seen this happen in real life in some of the people that make sacrifices. I've also seen in the main church people that gave a lot to the building. God bless them tremendously. And so this is a real thing. We must not be afraid to make sacrifices for the Lord. Okay? And I would like to share my own personal experience. In 1999, I also gave up my job and so on. And at first I thought, wow, yeah, it's a very big salary cut. Of course, my BMW is gone. And so I thought, oh yeah, I'll be tight. And really, I was tight, for many years financially, because it was a big salary cut. But now it's like 21 years later. God bless me and my wife Bessie. God blesses me 3 sons. And they all have a good education. All my 3 sons are now engineers, and now I have a granddaughter, okay? And financially, I'm also doing okay, I have houses, I have cars and so on, I managed to educate all my children, okay? So I want to share with you, okay? Never really doubt God, because God knows how to return back to us, okay? If we are brave to serve Him, we go say, Lord, I'm willing to make sacrifices. Yes, it may not be all the time you are blessed financially, but on the long term, our God is faithful, and our God knows how to really return back to us. So if you sow, you will reap. And I find that this is really what happened to all of us. Today, I look at all the lives of the people that make sacrifices. God has indeed blessed us tremendously. Several years ago, I found out, that the School of Acts have been using this song, Approved in Every Way, in their graduation service. Principal there, Reverend Raymond Mui, told me that the song is very meaningful to them and they sing it for every graduation. I was wondering, what made them choose the song, And I think the reason why is that actually every Bible student, every person who wants to serve God, I think the song is very meaningful, because it says, make my life a living sacrifice. I want to be your servant, Lord. Okay? And that's why there's a meaning of the song. We want to serve God and we want to make sacrifices. And so I'm really blessed, the School of Acts have been using this song as their graduation song for so many years. This year I'm 61, and sometimes I pray to God, God, give me 20-25 years of good health, and then call me home, So because why? I want to live a good life and I want to serve God all my life. That means, if I die at 85, I want to really serve God until the day I die. So that I need good health, And so when I see God at the end of my life, I want to hear these words, God said to me, well done, good and faithful servant, you know. So these are very precious words, and those are in the song, I want to be your servant, Lord. To hear, thou good and faithful one, you know. These are very precious words. And I hope that will also be your prayer, that you will also want to say, God, I want to serve you. I want to serve you all the days of my life. And at the end of my life, I want to say that I want to hear God's word say, well done, good and faithful servant.
To be your servant, Lord, to serve you each and every day. I want to give my best to you, approve in every way, make my life a living sacrifice, the way you want me to be, to serve you with all my heart, whatever the cost to me. Take me, break me, mold me, Lord, as a potter shapes the clay, pleasing you in all I do, approved in every way. I'll stand before your righteous throne to hear thou good and faithful one. Well done from the Master's lips, approved in